Hey guys, welcome to another training video. We're going to be doing these every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll tackle different topics, and hopefully as the group grows, as this training grows, people will join us. We can do Q&As and stuff like that. But today we're going to talk about what makes a good Craigslist ad. And the reality is most of the agents that I talk to on a day-to-day basis as the coach here at GorillaRealty.com tend to know what a good they know one when they see one. That said, they don't always know how do I get from point A to B. In other words, how do I make my ad a good ad? And so we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to share with you a little story. And this actually just happened. We had an agent by the name of John. We'll call him John C. I don't want to embarrass him, and I haven't asked him for permission to share this. But he emailed us a couple days ago, and I'll just share with you the email. I'll let his words say it. And I know this is going to sound unbelievable to you. I'll go ahead and preface it with that. This is going to sound like this can't be true. But let me share it. It says, looking forward to our call on Monday. In 1 week's time, I've posted Craigslist ads featuring 15 listings, and our site has received approximately 50 responses. A few of those are duplicates, unless this happens when a prospect clicks through on more than one ad rather than going to the website. A small number are clearly bogus, or at least the contact information is phony, but these are a smaller percentage of the total than I would have expected. But even if we only consider those that appear legit and have provided sufficient info for follow-up, we are quickly going to be reaching the point where we cannot keep up with the opportunities. I am meeting with another agent colleague this week to discuss his handling. Some of the follow-up is a referral agent for us. And if we manage this well at the front end, I can see this becoming a major success. Now this guy, I can't tell you, I when I read emails like this, and I get them all the time, but when I read emails like this, I just get pumped. This guy takes the training that we provide, the tools that we provide, and just runs with it. Since this email a couple of days ago, now this guy's been with us since the 5th of this month, September 5th. He signed up, he had initial training the next day, and then he started running his ads on the 7th. So today's the 21st, that's 2 weeks, roughly. Basically he's generated in that time 80 leads. Now, obviously you can see where he's coming from when he says, my problem is, hey, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to need to bring on other agents. That's a good problem to have. But the reality is what he's doing is not extraordinary. I see this day to day. What he did was he used our tools in terms of capture, but he followed our templates, our ads, to a T. And now, keep in mind, these are Craigslist ads. It's not costing him a dime to drive the type of traffic that he is. So let's talk about what it means to write those, what he did when it comes to the Craigslist ads that made his ad successful. So the first thing he did was he chose good listings. Now, when I talk about choose good listings, you probably think, well, how am I going to choose? I only have 5 listings. How can I choose, the good ones? When I say choose good listings, I'm not limiting it only to your listings. In fact, if you don't have many listings or if you don't have many good ones, I would actually recommend going out and borrowing some listings. It's pretty simple. Most good listing agents are going to be more than happy to share their listings with you, to allow you to use theirs. And that's exactly what John did here. He didn't have any of his own listings, so he initially went out and just talked to some of the agents that he knew and got permission to advertise their listings. Now, when you're choosing a good listing, there's a couple things that you want to look for, because some bait is better than others. The first thing is, don't automatically go to the high end, and think, well, if I post that $1 million property, that's gonna get me all the traffic. Because the reality is, people have a general sense of what they can afford. And if they see the Tiger Woods mansion there, they're going to think, well, that's nice, but I can't ever afford it, so I'm never going to look at that ad. So what we're really looking for is somewhere in the median price range, maybe about 20 to 30% above the median price range for an area. So if your market is a $200,000 median, you're looking for what, 230, 250, something like that. You're looking for a listing in that price range, because the goal is we want to attract eyeballs. We want to get as many people interested in this property as possible. The second thing we're looking for when we're choosing listings is we're looking for interesting. Now, I use that word specifically because I don't necessarily want you to think nice. So granite countertops, stone fascia, beautiful, landscaping, etc. Those are all nice, but maybe they're not all that interesting. One of the best performing ads I've ever had, it was actually a kind of average home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, brick ranch home that had a beautiful tree house in the back. And that particular ad would regularly generate 6 to 8 leads every single time they posted it. That's what I'm talking about when I say interesting. Now, at the end of the day, you take the listings that you have access to and you do as good as you can with them. But again, if we have the opportunity, we want to choose these kind of prime listings, because these are going to be the ones that help us generate the most when it comes to ad posting. The second thing that we want to include in our ad is a very short, simple description of the property. I want to include enough details about the property that it gets the customer interested in it, but I'm not going to write a novel about this house. In fact, most of the time what I do is I just copy and paste the remarks section from the MLS. Makes it easy on me. Maybe it's a little bit lazy, but quite frankly, most agents put the simple details about the property in the remarks section. So that's what I include. The third thing, I want to choose a great featured image. Now, this whole time I've been talking about Craigslist. The reality is I can group any online classified site that gets a decent amount of traffic. So you can throw in Facebook Marketplace, you can throw in Facebook's, some of those for sale groups that your market probably has. You can throw in Backpage, OLX.com, any of them. And then for your market, there may actually be a niche site that has, online classifieds as well. So the same principles are going to apply across the board. But when we talk Craigslist specifically, what a customer sees when they first, see the listing, and most of the sites are similar here, is they see a list of 100 plus properties. And basically all they see is a thumbnail and a headline. So if I want people to actually go into my ad and potentially interact with me, whether through my website or something like that, I actually have to first get them to read the ad first. I have to get them to click. And so I'm going to spend a lot of my creative energy on choosing a great initial photo, and Craigslist is called the featured image, and I'm going to spend the rest of my creative energy on writing a great headline that's going to draw attention, which we'll talk about in a minute. So what usually doesn't make a great featured image is a standard front of the house photo. Everybody uses that, and it may be the most descriptive, part, it describes the property well, but the reality is, putting in the front of the house blends in with everybody else. I'd actually probably throw in interior photos, tend to do that as well. They just blend in with what everyone else is putting on Craigslist or Facebook. And so when I choose the featured image, the first one that they see, I usually try to go with outdoor spaces. And sometimes the truth is, a lot of the properties that I end up, advertising, maybe I don't even use a photo or an image of that property. Maybe I use an image of a local park, the entrance of a neighborhood. You guys know what I'm talking about when they have the nice stone signage with flowers planted all around it and stuff like that. Typically outdoor images will pop more because you see a lot of beiges and bricks and browns, and all of a sudden, your photo is going to be filled with greens and blue skies. And so that's what I'm looking for when I choose a featured image. I use a lot of backyards, I use a lot of parks, stuff like that, to again, draw attention. I want to be unique, not necessarily the nicest, so to speak. The fourth thing is I'm going to pack the bottom of my ad with keywords, searchable keywords, because I want my ad to come up for every possible search. So that when I am helping an agent, maybe I'm not familiar with an area, I actually open up Google Maps and I start the map in wherever they're at, and then I just read off the names in all the little surrounding cities, suburbs, towns, villages around that. If they work in it, I add it. And so by the end, particularly if you're in a fairly large, metropolitan area, you're going to have 50 to 60, keywords in there. And then I also include like types of properties, condos, townhomes, split level, ranch, 2-story, etc. And I'm going to include as many of those keywords as possible. That way, if anybody is searching anything with regard to real estate in my area, my ads are going to show. It also helps with Google ranking because Craigslist ads tend to get ranked on Google, and then you get the Google SEO as well for your ads. The final, and this is perhaps the most important, and this is the one that I see agents oftentimes get wrong, is you need a simple and clear call to action. Where a lot of agents go wrong is, at the top of their ad, they'll say, hey, call me. But then the bottom of the ad, they say, hey, go to my website. And then, or they usually don't even say go to my website, they just put in a link. Here's my website, or here's my address, as if the customer's supposed to know, well, yeah, I guess I'll go to the site, I don't know what's on there. But what you want is you want to give them a very clear reason why they want to go to your site. You want to give them an offer, and then you want to send them there. Now, again, this only works if you have a website that's been developed for lead capture. Obviously, we provide that, but even if you don't have ours, you can follow some simple techniques and build a site that captures probably not as well as ours, but you can at least generate something from it. But the average Craigslist ad is only going to generate 5 to 7 clicks per ad. So if you're not very efficient capturing those clicks, a lot of what I'm talking about, even no matter how great your ad is, it's not going to work if you're not very efficient capturing those, those clicks. But you don't get the clicks if you don't actually present a clear call to action. So that's what I'm getting at. You're going to want to say, hey, go to my website for XYZ. Now, what we do on our ads is we'll write, if you want to get more details about this property, or if you want to see all properties in the area for free, go to my website. Now, we also have call capture technology and text capture technology that we include in our ads as well. So we'll say, or you can call our information hotline at, and we'll give them the unique number and extension, or text us at here. And we're being very clear about here's what you're going to get, and here's where you go to get it. It's very simple, clear, and in fact, I use little bold tags to make sure that they pop, because that's really the purpose of my Craigslist ad. I'm not necessarily trying to sell the house, although that'd be great. What I'm really trying to do is get these people to interact with my website or my phone so that I can capture them and ultimately build a relationship. So those are the simple 5 things that we try to include in every Craigslist ad. So what I'm going to do from here is I want to do a little bit of a giveaway, but also I want to potentially help with your Craigslist ads. Whether you're with us or whether you're not, we're going to use this opportunity to offer our services in terms of reviewing Craigslist ads. So I mentioned on the last live training that we have just a handful of paper copies of our books left over. Becoming a Mega Producer is one of our more popular books. I have a handful of paper copies that I'm willing to give away if you comment below with your most successful Craigslist ad, just so we can all kind of see. Now, maybe you don't have a successful Craigslist ad. Maybe you're going to go out and write a Craigslist ad just following some of the guidelines that I've given you here. Go ahead and post that down below, and I will mail you for free a copy of this book, Becoming a Mega Producer. And you're not going to want to miss that book, because it's, aside from just being great material, it's going to go over in detail everything from building a business plan to building teams, etc. So comment below with your best performing Craigslist ad, and anybody who comments, I'll mail a copy of the book to. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. I'd love for you to join us live so we can get questions answered and stuff like that. And you guys have a great day.